What's up, you amazing people? I hope you're having a fantastic day. You are, of course, watching and listening to the Daily Dirty 30, also known as the DDT, here on The Kevin Lee Show. And I am your host, Kevin Lee. Now, for those of you who do not know what the DDT is all about, let me take a moment to explain. You see, it's a show that airs live at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and it's where I get to spend 30 minutes telling you, the viewer, all about the things that bother me today. What do I get out of it? It's easy. It's cathartic. Why should you tune in? That's even easier. It's entertaining. Sound like a fair trade? Good. Let's get to it. Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Daily Dirty 30 here on The Kevin Lee Show. Happy Friday. But before we dive into the actual show today, I want to remind everybody about a couple of things. But primarily what I want to remind everyone about is that with this being Friday, that means tomorrow is Saturday. And I have no idea what you actually do on Saturdays, but as far as I and people around me, we do what's called the Libertarian Hour here on The Kevin Lee Show. And it's a show that airs at 1 p.m. Eastern, and it lasts for, like the title might imply, 1 hour. It's the Libertarian Hour. And because it's called the Libertarian Hour, we talk about all things libertarian. Now, if you weren't with us last week, you may not know exactly what this week is coming about, but last week we started a new series called Myths and Misunderstandings Within the Libertarian Party. It's a 10-part series taking a deeper dive into the 10 most critical issues facing our country and our party, that being the Libertarian Party, and at least from the libertarian perspective. Now, I know a lot of people might be wondering what type of issues we would be talking about. And to make it easy, I have a graphic for you. Hey, I'll do it this way. That way it's easier to see. Last week, we talked about immigration and borders. This week, we're going to be talking about the war on drugs. More precisely, what libertarians believe about the war on drugs. And that is, libertarians believe that the war on drugs is ineffective, unfair, and immoral. We advocate ending it. Ending what? The war on drugs. There you go. See? Easy peasy. Now that we have that out of the way, why don't we get to our regularly scheduled program? That would be the Daily Dirty 30 here on The Kevin Lee Show. Again, it is Friday, so happy Friday to everyone. And let's dive right in. The first topic we are going to be tackling today is Madonna, or more precisely, Madonna getting canceled. You see, what happened is Madonna decided to go against the grain, and both the media as well as the public members of the left decided to pounce on her. Now, knowing who Madonna is, well, I would assume you probably know who Madonna is. She's always been known as someone who would be considered to be on the left, right? No, on the left. Correct. That's the word I was looking for. She's always been on the left. You wouldn't think in a million years that anyone from the left would turn on her, or that she could say anything that would really upset the people on the left. I mean, let's be honest. After President Trump was elected, she was one of the main cheerleaders at the, how can I put this gently? At the pussy hat rallies with the pink pussy hats, she was one of the main cheerleaders, and she was a spokesperson. She was up on stage speaking. In fact, she even threatened about, or at least talking about fantasizing, blowing up the White House. So there's that. So you wouldn't think she would be one of the people that the left would attempt to cancel. But once again, 2020. And because of this, they are doing just that, or at least attempting to. So here I just grabbed one headline for you to see. It should kind of encapsulate everything that's going on with Madonna. And, okay, switch over here. And this is, after Madonna spreads insane coronavirus conspiracy theory, it's too hard to be a fan. That pretty much captures the entire mantra of what's going on, of people rising up against Madonna today. Now, it says, Madonna spreading false coronavirus information and calling Dr. Demon Sperm a hero makes it that much harder, well, I think it's supposed to say, to stand the former queen. And it's already been pretty hard, meaning that they're having other issues with Madonna. What those issues could be, I do not know, because I have not heard about anything else she's done that would upset the left. But definitely her backing this quote-unquote doctor. Well, I don't know, it's not even a quote-unquote. She is a doctor. So we're not going to get into that now. It'll actually kind of come about a little bit later in the show. But this is a woman that was one of the main spokespeople at the press conference of the doctors who were speaking about COVID-19 and talking about the effectiveness of using hydroxychloroquine to treat patients and with a mixture of other drugs. Now, again, you can take that however you want. I'm not suggesting one way or the other, good or bad. I'm just saying that these were a number of doctors. I think there was 40 in total. I'm not sure how many were actually at the press conference, but there were about 40 in total supporting this movement, if you will, of people supporting this type of treatment for COVID-19. On the surface, it was no big deal. But apparently this doctor was a doctor, a full-fledged doctor. I believe she works in Texas, as far as I know, and she's originally from Nigeria. She had... she has many opinions. She's very eccentric, and apparently she's very spiritual. I'm not sure if she's a Christian. I haven't looked too much into it, but I believe she is, because I believe she makes references to the Bible, so that would make me believe she's probably a Christian, and maybe even a preacher of some sort. Anyways, she's on video talking about certain things that are potentially in the Bible. So there's a number of reasons that this woman comes up in the news. But again, we'll get to that on her more later. This is more about Madonna and about how Madonna is spreading insane coronavirus conspiracy theories. I haven't had a chance to look too much into everything about Madonna, but as far as I know, she pretty much just talked about how she supported this treatment. And that was about it. And of course, they are now trying to cancel her because of it. Moving forward, we are now going to start talking about Trader Joe's. Not sure if you had a chance to catch up what's going on with Trader Joe's. More or less, what has happened is ever since, I want to say about a week and a half ago, Trader Joe's had decided they were going to cancel themselves. I guess that's one way to put it. They found out that there was an online petition with thousands of signatures demanding that Trader Joe's stop using some of their major, well, or at least cancel the names of their major brands that they, in-house brands, like Trader Ming's, Trader Jose, products they had for Chinese, and Hispanic foods. Pretty straightforward, right? They saw this online petition and freaked out. Initially, they saw it and goes, oh my God, they're going to attack us. There's going to be protesting at our stores. We're just going to have to be proactive and tell everyone we're going to cancel this. Well, good news and bad news about that. They're a corporation and they were concerned with optics. That's understandable, especially in 2020. Going forward, they realized that there was literally only a couple of thousand people really complaining about this. So what did Trader Joe's do about it? They decided to clarify that they don't believe that these products, these Trader Ming's and Trader Jose products, are actually racist or using the names are racist. And in fact, they've decided that they're going to do a 180 and they are no longer planning on changing the names of these products. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do think it's an interesting topic to talk about, because how many times are people concerned with their livelihood? I mean, you own a company, you own many stores. In fact, I'm not certain if they still do, but I know the people who owned Trader Joe's were also the same people who started Aldi, so I don't know if they're all still tied together or if they are separate. But either way, they are under attack, and they made an initial, retraction that they were, or made an initial move that they were going to change the names to protect themselves and protect their livelihood and their products and their stores. When realizing it may not be that big of a threat, they've decided to now pull a 180 and now change their mind and no longer change the names. Not sure what you might believe about that. I think it's actually kind of a ballsy move, considering everything else that's going on in our culture, our society, and our world. Think about how many times this could blow, and this still might blow up in their face. Excuse me. This still might blow up in their face. Who knows? I mean, you said you're going to do one thing, then you pull a 180 and say you're not going to do it. I can't imagine many people are going to be happy about this. And this actually, depending upon how much traction this gets, this might actually push more people to start boycotting Trader Joe's. So we'll see ultimately in the long run what's going to happen with this. I'm actually rather impressed that they were able to make the decision to change their mind. Regardless of what you agree or disagree with their stance on it, it's their company, it's their product. they're going to have to live or die by the decisions they make. Now, in a week, if people freak out and all of a sudden it goes from 2 or 4,000 people complaining about it to 50,000 people or 100,000 people, or it gets onto the morning shows or the late night talk shows or what have you, do you think they're going to change their mind again? Probably. But it's interesting that they literally took the step to say, no, we don't believe it's racist, and we're gonna continue doing what we do. I guess only time will tell. All right, so that was the second story of the day. Third story of the day is going to be, now this one, if you haven't heard it, it's not mind-blowing, but at the same time, it kind of is, because we're talking about a couple of small business owners, a married couple, who decided that they were going to invest in a business. They took all their life savings, bought an old house in Michigan. And it is it's a mansion. It's not a house. Let's not make light of it. This is literally a house. I mean, a mansion. It's 9,100 square feet. And I'm not sure if they themselves converted it to a bed and breakfast inn or if it already was, but they decided they were going to start a business for themselves. And, kudos to them. That's the American dream. Work hard, save up, do what you're going to do, and then live out your dream. And maybe this is what they've always wanted to do. So this is somewhere, I believe, in St. Paul, Michigan. Perhaps it says here. St. John's. I'm sorry, St. John's, Michigan. So they went ahead and bought this property about 2 years ago, and they started the inn. And apparently it's done well. I mean, obviously they're still going strong. But something strange happened recently over the last couple of months, ever since George Floyd incident or his death, and then all the protesting that's occurred and all the riots that have occurred. Obviously people have become more sensitive to race issues, obviously, and that's not a bad thing. But needless to say, sometimes people make poor decisions when it comes to this type of subject, because these people flew 2 flags outside of their bed and breakfast, inn. One was an American flag. The other one was, for some reason, somehow, some way, taken to believe that they were actually flying a Confederate flag. All right, here. So this is from the New York Post. Here's a picture of the inn. It's a beautiful building, as you can see. And on here, they have an American flag. And over here to the left side, they have... Now, even from this picture, you might look at it and initially go, wait, what is that? Is that a Confederate flag? And you'll see red, white, and blue, but you'll see kind of the blue kind of almost in a cross form, and you'll see white outlining it. And you might think to yourself, dear God, that's a Confederate flag. And now, initially, that's okay. Walking by, seeing this, you might go, oh my God, that's a Confederate flag. And then people might get upset. But if you actually look at it, it's not a Confederate flag. It's a Norwegian flag, because this is a Norwegian couple, or at least one of the people in the marriage is a Norwegian. And they fly a Norwegian flag. In fact, they call their bread and breakfast the Norwegic Pineapple Bed and Breakfast. I mean, it's a theme of Norway, Nordic. And they fly, the Norway flag. And again, I can understand a passerby going by, catching out the corner of their eye, going, what is that? That makes sense, because there's a little similarity, especially if it's not moving or if it's kind of folded or hiding. I get that. Fine, so be it. The problem with it being is that once you take a closer look, you can clearly see there's no stars on it. It's not an X. It's actually like a cross. Thought there was another picture of the Norwegian flag. Oh, here we go, right here. You can clearly see this is a Confederate flag on the left, and to the right is the Norway flag, the national flag. Again, if they're both kind of partially folded down, I could see people initially having issues. But once you clearly see that it's not a Confederate flag, it shouldn't be an issue. But there still was an issue. In fact, the article talks about that they received many, many, many hateful emails and comments on their actual review pages, because apparently people either don't bother to look, or even if they do, they don't care that the fact that they weren't flying a Confederate flag, but rather a Norway flag or Norwegian flag. It's kind of sad that this is the state of our union, right? you should be able to, if you want to fly any flag. Now, I'm not a fan of the Confederate flag. I don't think you should fly it, but I don't think it should be a law that you can't. That being said, they're not even flying a Confederate flag. They are simply flying their homeland flag, the Norway flag, and they love it so much, they have an entire theme for their bed and breakfast. This should not be an issue, but it is, sadly. And the fact that they received hate emails, threats even, they freaked out. They took down their flags. They started changing the decor. And that's not right. I don't care who you are. There's something not right about scaring people and threatening people into changing who they are. It's just not right, especially when they're not even doing anything wrong. I mean, do you think they're doing anything wrong? I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. You should have the right to have your business, especially if you're not doing anything that's offensive or racist. And again, I understand the confusion. Let's put it that way. I can understand the confusion initially, but once people see that it's not what they think it is, it shouldn't be an issue from there. I mean, I think most first graders, if you were to explain a situation, they would understand, yeah, okay, I saw this, but that's not what it is. This is what it is. Okay, and they would go off. Grown adults apparently can't do that. And that, I think, is a commentary on where our country, and maybe even our entire world is. Because it's not like all these issues about race and racism is an American issue. It is primarily right now around America, but there are people all over the world. I mean, there have been protests in every major country. I can't think of a single country that hasn't had them. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I haven't remember hearing about any country who isn't having them particularly. So, take it for what you want. I think we can learn from this experience. But again, well, and that's another thing that kind of caught me off guard about this story is that allegedly, I don't know if you've ever been to Michigan or if you know anything about Michigan. Michigan is a very purplish state. There's very, very blue sections of Michigan and very red sections of Michigan. Sometimes it's just cities or towns. Sometimes it's entire counties that are all left-leaning or right-leaning. Apparently, this is a right-leaning area, but still, this is what happened. And maybe that's why it happened. Maybe someone saw a picture of it and made a comment, and someone else saw that comment and decided to pounce on them without actually even seeing the flag. I don't know. And I feel sad for these people because they felt like they had to pull down their tradition, pull down their namesake of even their own business out of fear that someone's going to come and attack them or attack their business or even worse, who knows? Maybe we can all learn something from that today. I don't know. Maybe not. Now we're going to get to another subject, which is going to take a few minutes to talk about, and you wouldn't think it would, but it's going to, and I'll tell you why. This is normally something I do on Fridays that ends up being like almost like the smallest part of the show. It's kind of like the little end tail thing where we talk about the words of the week because it's fun. I do subscribe to a number of different words of the day type things. And this happens to be one that sends me a summary of the week. Not even it's the words that were necessarily sent or posted during the week, but words that came up during the week through people's searches, often due to headlines that are out in the news or in actual newspapers. And because of this, well, let me just get to it, shall we? I think we shall. So this is the words of the week. This is from Merriam-Webster. They sent me an email, as they do, I'm sure, to thousands, if not millions of other people. And in here, it says some of the words that define the week ending July 31st, which is today. It says, welcome to the words of the week in which we look over some of the good, the bad, and the semantically imprecise words that tickled your curiosity this past week. Okay. So it says, due to Trump tweeting about suburban lifestyle dreams and about how low-income housing people are concerned about low-income housing being infiltrated into nicer suburban areas. Don't worry, I've taken care of that sort of thing. It was a really weird tweet. I'm not going to lie. For Donald, even for Donald Trump, it was a weird tweet. But because of this, and because of articles that were written in reaction to his tweet, these kind of became popular words to search, or terms, I should say words, but terms, low-income housing and dog whistle. The thing that I first kind of get caught off guard by this is if you if you look at this, most people who are going to look at like words of the day and those things are going to be someone who's probably, I don't know, an adult or even adult like, maybe a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old. Probably, right? You would think. Don't most adults and even adult level people who are, heightened adolescents or 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, shouldn't they know what low income housing is? And shouldn't they know what dog whistle is? You would hope, but apparently they don't. Moving forward from there, one of the next things that comes up is the word ambitious. Now, again, this isn't just because people don't know what the word ambitious means. I mean, who doesn't know what the word ambitious means? They're just pointing out the fact that it came up. I get it, but it's just kind of like, why go through the trouble? But apparently, on the Democratic side of the political aisle, the word of the week, which many found had a coded sort of ickiness to it, was ambitious, after this adjective was applied to Kamala Harris. So apparently there was an article written criticizing Kamala Harris for being too ambitious, and maybe because of that they could not be maybe because of that she could not be the vice president. Weird, but it's possible. Again, if you're even 12 years old, you should know what the word ambitious means. I get it. They put it in here just to catch people's attention in the email and at the words of the week at the end of the week. But still, come on, people. Let's be a little smarter than this. So we got through low-income housing. We got through dog whistle. We have ambitious. Okay, fine. These are all words that you could use in a normal day. And then it kind of changes gears. And you'll notice on here what it says. It says demon plus quack. Demon quack. It says demon quack and several other words were suddenly given a good deal of attention after President Trump spoke approvingly of a doctor whose views on coronavirus treatment are viewed askance by most other doctors. And there was an article that was written, and in there it talks about how Trump's new favorite COVID doctor believes in alien DNA, demon sperm, and hydroxychloroquine. So what they're trying to do in this title, in this article, is saying that if you believe in hydroxychloroquine, obviously you're insane because you also believe in alien DNA and demons and what have you, right? So again, it's a newspaper. They're trying to catch it. They're trying to not only get you to read their article, but they're trying to embarrass people as well, because that's what most reporters do. Well, the problem with that is that if you want to try to conflate hydroxychloroquine, which is a well-known, well-used drug that's been used by millions of people, still is every day by millions of people. In fact, I've seen places where it says it's as safe, if not more safe, than aspirin for the average person. So they want to take it and demonize, if you will, hydroxychloroquine by conflating it with one doctor's opinion who makes other references not to this drug or COVID, but in life to alien DNA and demons and incubuses and succubuses and things that they believe in. Well, you can sit there and say, well, these people are crazy who would believe any of this. But really? Because right here, we have an article that says 45% of Americans believe that ghosts and demons exist. Not that they fantasize about it, not that they believe it could be. They literally believe that ghosts and demons exist, just like the Bible says. 45%. In fact, there's other parts in the world, well, I've heard that are 60, 70, 80% of people believe that ghosts and demons exist. So to try to say that anyone who believes in ghosts or demons are crazy is kind of poor choice, wouldn't you think? Furthermore, as this article put out, alien DNA, that this favorite COVID doctor believes in alien DNA. What kind of nut job who's a scientific mind would believe in aliens? Well, funny you should ask. The new American religion of UFOs. Belief in aliens is like faith in religion. In fact, this article goes on to talk about that more than half of American adults, more than half. So if we have roughly 45%, 50%, say one of every two people believe in ghosts and demons, more people believe that aliens exist. And in fact, of young Americans, being people under the age of 21, over 60% of that group believes in intelligent life. So now we have someone trying to conflate this potential drug treatment of hydroxychloroquine mixed with, I believe it's zinc and some antibiotics to be helpful. And if nothing else, at least preventing getting sick with COVID-19 and possibly lessen time of taking or of having COVID-19 with these other drugs, trying to conflate that with belief in alien DNA and demons. Well, it looks like at least 1 out of every 2 Americans agrees. And if you go around the world, that number probably raises greatly, right? So here we have 45% of Americans believe in ghosts and demons. We have over 60% of young adults, and more than half of American adults believe in intelligent life or aliens. But something else is even more curious, because if you go right here, what's this? Oh, Pentagon has off-world vehicles not made of this earth. This is from an article that talks about how the Pentagon's on again, off again. Once covert UFO program is decidedly back on and will soon reveal some of the findings to the public. An astrophysicist with knowledge about the files who was consulted on the UFO program confirms the government possesses materials from off-world vehicles not made on this earth. Think about that. There is someone who is going on the record confirming that they already have full knowledge that the U.S. government has possessed materials from off-world vehicles not made of this earth. That's essentially confirming that there's some type of alien life. So not only is there a belief in alien life by more than half of all adults and more than 60% of all youth, and not only do we have 1 out of 2 people believing in ghosts and demons, if you will, but we actually have confirmation from people with knowledge from the U.S. government stating that we have physical material that aliens exist. So, what do you think of this headline? Trump's new favorite: COVID doctor believes in alien DNA, demon sperm, and hydroxychloroquine. If we now know that most people believe in demons and ghosts, and most people believe in aliens, and now we might even have absolute physical proof that aliens exist, what's that say about hydroxychloroquine? Something to think about. Well, my friends, that will pretty much do it for today. But I do want to remind everyone, again, that tomorrow we do have the Libertarian Hour that will be starting at 1 p.m. Eastern live, and you can always watch it on replay whenever you want. That's available on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and on audio, on every single source you could humanly imagine. Also, I want to remind everyone who is watching that we have a website that if you're ever interested in anything about our show, you can go check out. It's called The Kevin Lee Show. I'll blow it up here so you can see it a little better. It's thekevinleeshow.com. It's pretty simple. It's pretty hard to miss. It's thekevinleeshow.com. On here, you're going to find things where you can locate all our podcasts, which is the Libertarian Hour, the Daily Dirty 30, which you're watching and listening to right now, as well as Whatever with Kevin. It's not a show I do very often, but when I do, it's worth catching. We have sections for our live stream, our Patreon, our PayPal, our merch stores for both the Kevin Lee Show and Whatever with Kevin, as well as you can learn more about me and the show. You can contact us directly through links, as well as you can actually purchase masks directly from our store. So if you are in the need of a new mask with everything going on COVID-19, you can buy one that says The Kevin Lee Show. You can buy one that says The Daily Dirty 30, or you can buy one that says The Libertarian Hour. And these range in price from anywhere from $12 to $17, depending upon what size and style you choose. So I recommend you checking out thekevinleeshow.com. And again, if you want to watch these shows, you can watch them directly from my website. Otherwise, I'll have links to anywhere you can watch them either live or on replay. But we are already at 29 and a half minutes. And as you know, the show is called The Daily Dirty 30. So let's keep it at 30 minutes if we can. But it's been real. I hope everyone has a good rest of your night, has a good day tomorrow. And don't forget to join us tomorrow. And for some reason, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend. And we will see you all next week. Till then, have a good one.